Alright, so we are back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and in today's video we are going to be doing the team building guide for the up-and-coming Future Saga EZA event. Now, from this EZA event, we are going to get the medals for the Tech Future Gohan, and then also the medals to EZA, the AGL Trunks and Mai. Now, the STR Trunks and then the INT Zamasu, I'm pretty sure they sub-EZA from this EZA event. Don't quote me on that, but you don't get their medals just by completing this, so that's just one thing you're going to want to keep in mind. But this is definitely something you're going to want to do. You get a lot of stones, you get a lot of Kais, hidden potential orbs, and Zenny. So just a good thing overall to do. Now, the weakness for it is Future Saga. It's going to be extremely easy, Future Saga. Yeah, it's gotten a good amount of buffs during the celebration, especially in terms of like leads and stuff like that. So not a lot of people should be struggling with this category, but I figured, you know, might as well make a video on it still and just go over some good leads and good options you could bring on your team. Now, first off, we do have the new LR Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. A lot of you probably managed to pull them. So in this EZA event, they're going to be amazing. They're going to have their guard for the first 4 turns, which is majority of the fight. So they're definitely going to be useful in here in terms of their defense, their damage. Alright, so their damage doesn't really get good until they fuse. So they're not really going to be providing much in terms of their offense. But, you know, if you do manage to get the fusion off, which is still possible, I think you can get it starting from turn 7 when there's a Future Saga category enemy. So if you go that far in a fight, you know, you get the fusion off, you'll be able to just obliterate the enemy with Vegito. But 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get the fusion. You're just going to be stuck with these guys. And again, they're good defensively, but their damage isn't going to be insane. So a really good lead, but in terms of a unit, they're not going to be putting that much work in this event. But they're a very, very good lead. The 2 extra 30% buffs are Realm of Gods and Time Travelers. Most units on Future Saga are on Time Travelers as well. So I think this should be pretty good in terms of a lead, and this is probably the best lead you could bring for this EZA event. But if you didn't manage to pull him, there are a couple other options, don't worry. Next up, we do have the LR Vegeta and Trunks. They're very close to being the best Future Saga lead. I would say they're just behind this guy, because they lead Future Saga for obviously 170%, and then the extra 30% to stats goes to Battle of Fate. Battle of Fate is a really, really like broad category. A lot of units are on there. That in and of itself is a really good category. So if you don't have the Super Saiyan Blue boys, you're fine. You could still just replace him with this guy, and then you're going to be good. Now, this guy's pretty good defensively. It's an EZA event. Again, you know, most units are going to be good defensively in here. And then his damage could look pretty good as well. He's got some crits built in. He's got some additionals built in. It's nothing insane, but if you give him a chance to build up, you know, he gets the 7% chance to crit with every attack received up to 35%. You give him a chance to build up that key, so then getting the 18 key will be a lot easier. Then this guy can look pretty good offensively. And then he's got the active skill, which is pretty easy to get. You can get it from the 3rd turn from start of battle. So then with the active skill, you do some solid damage, and then also you're buffing the rotation by 20% defense. So a really good unit as a support, and just a really good unit as a lead, and just by his passive and all that. So definitely someone you're going to want to consider bringing on your team, even if you're not going to bring him as a lead. Because in this event, yeah, the first enemy you're fighting, or I guess it's for the first 15 stages, is Tech. So then this guy is going to have type advantage for the first 15 stages. Hence, he's going to do a lot more damage and tank a lot better. So a really good unit to consider bringing on the team. And then next up, if you don't have a 200% lead for Future Saga, there are some good 170% leads you could bring. Most notably, we did just get the EZA for this Tech Trunks. Now, he does take a minute to look really impressive in terms of, you know, his attack and defense, because he is a stacker. But it takes him a minute to actually get those stacks. But that's not that big of a deal, because like I've said a couple times, this is an EZA event. It's not hitting that hard. So even turn 1, this guy's going to be fine. And also, he's a really good support. So he doesn't support for attack and defense, but he does support superclass allies for 2 key, which is really good, especially if you're just throwing a lot of random units on this team. You know, as long as they're a superclass ally, then they'll get the extra key, which can be good, especially if a lot of the units on your team don't link well together. So then this will just help them, you know, get that super attack off. Or even if they do link well together, it'll just help them get it, you know, 24 key if they're an LR, or a 12 key super if they're a TUR. So definitely a really good unit to bring. If you manage to get to, you know, the transformation into Super Saiyan, which you probably will get majority of the time, he's still a support. So there is that to keep in mind. And he's pretty good in terms of his attack and defense. And then if you do get the Sword of Hope transformation, or the Sword of Hope mode or whatever, and you get a couple stacks with him, then this guy's going to look really crazy. He gets that 1 guaranteed crit, so that'll probably just obliterate the enemy as it is if you get lucky with some key spheres. And he's still a support. His support actually goes up. He now supports for 3 key. So definitely a good unit, someone you should consider bringing on the team. And then he does actually have type advantage for the last 15 stages, because then, of course, you're facing the AGL Trunks and then the AGL Trunks and Mai. So a really good unit to bring, even just on the team, once again, not only because of support, but if you got to bring him as a lead, it could definitely work. And then next up, as another 170 lead, we do have the Physical Future Gohan. So this guy's had his EZA for a while, so most of you probably have him and have him EZA'd. He's a really good unit. You throw a Trunks on the team, he's going to look a lot more impressive with the extra 120% to stats, and then he does have the medium chance to crit. He builds up the damage reduction, he gets extra defense, the less HP remaining. So he's just going to be a good unit. He's going to have a lot of stats, he's going to have a lot of damage reduction. So a good unit to consider bringing. Having him as a lead could definitely work as well if you have to. Like I mentioned, 170% is probably the bare minimum of what you'd want in an EZA event, but it would definitely still work. He's also going to link well with a lot of other Superclass Future Saga units on the team. So, you know, again, a pretty good unit to bring. If you don't have to run this guy as a lead, I don't necessarily know if I would run him on the team because there aren't any int enemies in this fight. Now, there's not any STR enemies either, so you're not going to have type disadvantage, but through the whole fight, you're just going to be type neutral. And, you know, this guy's damage isn't that great, so if you're running him type neutral, he's probably not going to provide a ton of value for you. I mean, his defense is good, but like I said, it's an EZA event. Most units will be able to have good defense in this event and be able to tank. So I would recommend if, you know, you don't have to run him on the team, probably don't, and try and find some other options that are better offensively so that it can help you just obliterate this event and complete it quicker. So now we are done talking about the leads. I just want to get into some good units just to bring on the team in general. So we do have the Fused Zamasu right here. So yeah, this guy does have type advantage during the first 15 stages again, because of course he's a tech enemy. He can be really impressive. He's changing orbs into int. He also does have his active skill, which can do a lot of damage. You've got to do 5 supers to get the active skill, so you know, it might take a minute to get it, and you're probably only going to get the active skill at the very end of the fight. But I guess keep in mind he still has it, and it can do a good amount of damage. He's got damage reduction built in. He's healing. He's got the nullification as well. So just a good unit all around. I would definitely consider bringing him, especially for the first 15 stages. And then next up, we've got, surprisingly, a free-to-play option with the new free-to-play Trunks, the int one. So this guy has type advantage, again, for the first 15 stages. So, of course, he would be pretty useful because of that. He is building up, but he's going to build up relatively quick, especially if you have him built primarily additionals, so it's not really that big of a deal. And then he also has some crits when there's a Future Saga or Time Travelers category enemy. Of course, there is going to be a Future Saga category enemy throughout this whole fight. And then also, he does get some extra stuff if there's a Future Saga category ally. And of course, you're running a full Future Saga team, so this guy could be really good in this fight. He also has the domain, which only affects Time Travelers units. Or no, the condition is when there's a Time Travelers category enemy or turn 5, but I'm pretty sure this AGL Trunks MI is on Time Travelers. So then, you know, you could do it starting from turn 1, starting from the 16th stage, and then the actual effect is that it's buffing both Future Saga allies and enemies. So it's still going to be useful because you're still supporting your team, because obviously you're running a full Future Saga team. So definitely a good unit to bring in terms of his support. His defense should be perfectly fine, and then his damage should be pretty good as well. But this guy doesn't have his EZA yet, so you know, he's not going to be as good as he's going to be here in like a week or two when he gets his EZA for part 3. But if you got to run him, he's a good free-to-play option. Now, that is all the units I have pulled up right here, but there are other good options to bring. You've got this Prime Battle Trunks. You've got the Int LR Rose Goku Black. There's also the LR Future Gohan and Trunks. So there's definitely other good options to bring. But, you know, they're a little, I don't want to say weaker, but probably only bring them if you have to bring them. Like this guy, I know a lot of you probably don't have him at his LR state and EZA'd because it's a really big grind to get him there. But if you do have him, he could be pretty useful in this event. You know, he's an LR. He can do some solid damage. And then there's the Int LR Rose Goku Black. He's probably going to EZA during this celebration, but, you know, he could still be pretty good, I guess. I mean, he's got type advantage for the first 15 stages. So, of course, in there, he could look pretty impressive. And then there is the AGL Trunks and then the Future Gohan. I mean, same thing with the Prime Battle Trunks. He's an LR, and he can do some solid damage. So there's good options to bring other than the ones I mentioned, but I would try and stick to some of the newer LRs that can actually do some damage, because everyone here is going to be able to tank, but you're really just going to want to make sure you bring a team that can do a lot of damage, so then you can obviously just beat the event quicker. So I guess that pretty much has been the video. Let me know what team you are going to bring down in the comments, or let me know what units you're going to bring on your team down in the comments, and let me know what EZA unit you are most hyped for. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.